The information that keeps pouring in on this guy, Michael Dunn, who murdered Jordan Davis, is painting a picture of him that's exactly like we all thought he was. So again, for those of you that don't know the backstory, Jordan Davis, at the time, this was 2 years ago, was a 17-year-old black male, just a kid, and him and three of his friends pulled up to a convenience store, and this middle-aged white man, Michael Dunn, tells them to turn down their music, and they refuse. So Dunn pulls out a gun and starts shooting. Stay classy. Now, he ended up killing Michael Davis. The other three friends got away. And what's Michael Dunn's argument? Of course, it was self-defense. Now, we heard from witnesses that the kids didn't threaten him in any way. That there were no weapons. From the police, we heard there were no weapons in the car, there were no weapons on the kids, and we checked all along the side of their drive to the hospital, and it's not like they threw any weapons out the window or anything. So, no weapons, they're kids, and they didn't at any point in time threaten to get out of the vehicle to threaten physical harm against him. This is according to witnesses. So, apparently, it was just a slight verbal back and forth. And this guy decided, now I have free reign to shoot at these kids. And he ended up killing one of them. Well, now we have a call from him to his girlfriend while he was in jail. I'll give you that in a second. This is news that broke today. And remember, he was found guilty of 3 counts of attempted murder in the second degree, I believe. So he's looking at a bare minimum of 10 years in jail. Hopefully, I think he can get as much as 30. But it was a mistrial on the first-degree murder charge. So that was the upsetting part of the story yesterday. And now let me give you what he said in the phone call with his girlfriend. This is insanity. He said, quote, "I was the one that was being preyed upon, and I fought back. It's not quite the same, but it made me think of the old TV shows and movies where how the police used to think that when a chick got raped, they said, oh, it's her fault because of the way she dressed. I'm like, so it's my fault? And then he laughs. Because I asked them to turn their music down? I got attacked and I fought back because I didn't want to be a victim and now I'm in trouble. I refuse to be a victim and now I'm incarcerated." They didn't attack you, you dumbass. Don't you know that we have this thing called witnesses? There's multiple witnesses. Your girlfriend even said that the last thing you said before she got out of the car to go into the convenience store was, "I hate that fucking thug music." Okay, I think they even have the security camera from the convenience store that shows the kids didn't do anything threatening. There was a verbal back and forth, and then this guy starts shooting, and he says, "I'm the victim." He's comparing himself to a rape victim. You are alive. You walked away without a fucking scratch on you, and Jordan Davis is dead. He's dead because you killed him. You shot him because you got your tiny little ego hurt when people didn't listen to you when you were barking orders at them. I don't understand how these guys can twist it like they think they're the victim. You didn't get hurt. There wasn't a physical altercation. You drove away and didn't call the cops and pretended like there was no issue whatsoever. You took out a gun and fired upon 4 people, killing one of them, and you say you're the victim? What is wrong with you? I mean, this guy is a blithering idiot. Now remember, this is on top of the letters that he wrote while he was in jail. We went over some of them, but I got to give you them again because they're so crazy. He said, quote, "I just got off the phone with you and we were talking about how racist the blacks are up here. The more time I am exposed to these people, the more prejudiced against them I become." Well, thank you for admitting that you're prejudiced. Now remember, what's the definition of prejudiced? Prejudging. He's saying, yes, I am prejudiced. Yes, I will prejudge all black people. If I see a black doctor or a black accountant, to me, same thing as a black person who you might find in Compton who's walking around with a Glock. You're admitting you're prejudiced. You're saying, oh, well, now I'm becoming more and more prejudiced. And by the way, what do you mean the black people are racist? They don't immediately worship you as as if you're some sort of superior? Because you're not superior. You're a fucking idiot, as we've established. Now, it gets even worse. He also said, quote, "It's spooky how racist everyone is up here and how biased towards blacks the courts are." Biased towards blacks the courts are. Hey, buddy, I don't know if you know this. They've done empirical studies where they actually look at the data, and the court system is biased against minorities. That is a fact. A fact. For example, black people and white people use drugs at the exact same rate, but black people get arrested for it 4 times more often. He's biased against black people, not for black people. But you could tell this guy, he's already got his preconceived notions and his conclusions, and he just works backwards from that, and he seeks to confirm his beliefs. He has confirmation bias all day, every day. Blacks are bad, therefore I'm going to look for the bad in all blacks. I'm going to pretend like there's some sort of system rigged in favor of them. That's the first time I ever heard that one. Yeah, system rigged in favor of black people. Please, control yourself. And then he says, "This jail is full of blacks and they all act like thugs. This may sound a bit radical, but if more people would arm themselves and kill these blanking idiots," I don't know what the blanking is supposed to be. Could be the N-word, could be fucking. "When they're threatening you, eventually they may take the hint and change their behavior." He's saying, this may sound a bit radical, but if more people would arm themselves and kill these guys when they threaten you, eventually they may take the hint and change their behavior. So you could see how black people are the thugs. I don't understand how can somebody be so dense that they don't realize the massive irony of what he's saying right there. It's hard to believe that anybody could be that stupid. You're calling black people gangsters and thugs and saying they're violent. Meanwhile, you're saying, well, we got to kill them so that they change their behavior. You're the thug then. You're the gangster. You're the violent one. How do you not see that? But that's the thing. Again, it's a childish way. It's a primitive way of thinking. It is just the most basic form of, nativist ideology, which is, I'm good by definition. I'm right by definition because I'm this white guy and my mommy and daddy raised me well, and therefore anything I do is justified. Any feelings I have are justified. And if that means that I acted out in violence when I disagree with somebody or I don't like somebody, well, that's justified because I'm right. White is right. So he's doing the opposite. Remember what Martin Luther King Jr. said? We should judge people by their character, not the color of their skin. He's doing the opposite. He's saying, fuck the character, because my character's all fucked up, right? My character's horrendous. I kill people. I'm angry at everybody. But white is right. I am judging just simply by the color of somebody's skin, not by their character. Because if you judge by character, everybody knows Michael Dunn is one of the lowest pieces of fucking scum on this planet. God, man, if this guy doesn't get at least 30 years, a horrendous injustice will have been done. I already think a horrendous injustice has been done because he should have been guilty of that murder charge. I don't know what else could have happened to make, a jury say, well, yes, he is guilty. Like, this is the perfect fake scenario that you could theoretically draw up where it's just a black and white, like, yeah, no, he's guilty of murder, of course. There was a slight verbal altercation, and then he takes out his gun and kills a 17-year-old. How is that not murder? That's the clearest example of murder I've ever seen in my life. It's not even close. It's not even like, no, maybe it's manslaughter. Not even close. Not manslaughter. Not murder 3 or any lighter charge. That's fucking murder 1 right there. That's the definition of murder 1.